How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I'll bring you a crazy story. It's to the point now where I've seen so many stories like this, not necessarily the same as this, but similar to this. I'm not even surprised anymore. This is just more part of the course for these crazy people, especially in academia. And the reason why I'm highlighting this story is because you need to know, if you're a parent, you have a child that's in high school, college, or whatever, you need to know what kind of professors your child has. Okay, maybe they're getting indoctrinated with some crazy stuff that you don't anticipate. If you are spending your hard-earned money to fund their college career, you might want to think twice about where you send them. And that leads me to the headline that you see on the screen behind me. Americans who practice yoga contribute to white supremacy, claim Michigan State University professor. So if your child goes to MSU, you might want to see who their professors are. Look at their course list and see what's going on with it. Maybe have a little bit of one-on-one time with them. But let's get to the actual article here. And you see the headline and the subhead. It says Religious Studies Professor Shreena Gandhi. I assume she's Indian. You know, the name Gandhi, of course, that's a very famous name from Mahatma Gandhi. I doubt there's any relation, but you're talking about a non-white person that is probably envious of whiteness or what she sees as whiteness. I don't really know, but the subhead continues. Shreena Gandhi argues the practice has flourished in the U.S. from the cultural void of white society. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important thing about her being Indian. I'm pretty sure that yoga originated in the Indian subcontinent. So maybe she's offended at how people in America, especially white people, use yoga. But we'll get into that in a little bit here. All right. And you got the yoga class going on. Very interesting. And the subhead here says Professor Gandhi said yoga is intimately tied to colonialism and was originally used as a tool to show the British that Indians were not backwards or primitive. Okie dokie. Oh, whatever she says. And the article says, white Americans who practice yoga are perpetuating the continuation of white supremacy and colonialism, a Michigan State University professor has claimed. Now, look, the Indian subcontinent, I know there's a whole big history behind that, between India and Pakistan. At one point, it used to be one place. Then the British came and then they partitioned it. I know about Lahore and all the death and destruction that happened, but I don't think your average soccer mom or whoever who goes and does yoga on the mat with an instructor in some subdivision shopping center is contributing to white supremacy. I mean, you're assigning things to these people they don't have anything to do with, but we're going to continue with the article and see what it says. Religious studies professor. Oh, okay. Religious studies. Interesting. Shreena Gandhi argued yoga has flourished in the U.S. from the cultural void of white society, intimately mixed with white supremacy, capitalism, and globalization. That's weird to see a liberal person that's against globalization. That's very strange. Capitalism, of course, they're going to be against that. It's weird how these people are against capitalism, but at the same time, they're against white supremacy and the white government. It's like, okay, so you're going to turn to the same government and the same white people who you are hating, essentially, to help you get to where you got to go in life. It doesn't make any sense. But how much of the left does make any sense nowadays? Not much. She said the misappropriation of yoga did not constitute life-threatening racism, but argued white people who practice yoga to consider the history of the practice in the U.S. and its supposed links with larger forces of white supremacy. Now, I want to know how yoga is going to be like this dastardly thing that needs to be eradicated from the U.S. And there's a few more links right here talking about Bikram yoga, ineffective at improving heart health. Our spiritual retreats in Nepal, a load of nonsense. Facial yoga makes women look 3 years younger, and woman attempts yoga pose on fallen tree with hilarious results. I wonder what happened. Don't know right now, but we're going to get back into the article. She made the arguments in the report titled, quote, Yoga and the Roots of Cultural Appropriation, unquote, co-authored with Lillie Wolff, and anti-racist white Jewish organizer. Oh my goodness. Wow. Triggered already. Facilitator and healer. White Jewish. That's interesting to hear a Jew call themselves white Jewish. That's very strange. Are they white or are they Jewish? Because as far as I know, that's not the same thing. The authors wrote, this modern day trend of cultural appropriation of yoga is a continuation of white supremacy and colonialism, maintaining the pattern of white people consuming the stuff of culture that is convenient and portable while ignoring the well-being and liberation of Indian people. So let me get this straight. If you, like I said, you're a soccer mom and you go to yoga class after work, or, you know, you just want to get out the crib and do some yoga, or you do it in your house with one of them old school DVD tapes and your mat in your living room, you have to be like trying to help Indian people out. But isn't that what the British did back in the day before they partitioned India or the subcontinent into India and Pakistan? Isn't that what they were doing? They were there helping. So if you help in a way that has government tied into it, as far as colonialism, then that's wrong. But if you help in a way that's different, then it's okay. I'm not really sure. What's the best way to help? When you're talking about large groups of people, you got to be able to come in and institute some kind of system to be able to facilitate the help in the best way possible. That's called colonialism. So if you don't want colonialism, then why are you requiring the white man and the white woman to come help you? While the misappropriation of yoga may not be a life-threatening racism, it is part of systemic racism nonetheless, and it is important to ask, what are the impetuses for this cultural grabbing? I don't know. You tell me. Professor Gandhi said yoga is intimately tied to colonialism and was originally used as a tool to show the British that Indians were not backwards or primitive. Alrighty. She added, it did not appear in the American spiritual landscape by coincidence. Rather, its popularity was a direct consequence of a larger system of cultural appropriation that capitalism engenders and reifies. When Western yoga teachers train other practitioners to relate to yoga only on a physical level without exploring the history, roots, complexity, and philosophy, they are perpetuating the recolonization of it by diluting its true depth and meaning. You know what? I was watching a very interesting documentary the other day called Kumare. And if you have not seen that, please go on Amazon or somewhere, sign up for the little dot club or whatever you got to sign up for, the free trial, and watch it. What it was Indian guy born in America, grew up in Jersey, and he was, I don't know what he was doing. He was in college trying to find himself. He was going to different practitioners of yoga and different Indian type religions. He was going to these masters, all these people that were trying to teach him the spiritual side, but he felt like the people that he was going to were feeding a bunch of nonsense. Even in India itself, they were feeding nonsense, because who is to say who is a master of yoga? Who's to say who has the best ability to teach you the history of it or the meaning behind it, the so-called true meaning outside of what you would see, like I said, the aforementioned soccer mom with the mat after she gets out of soccer practice with little Dylan. Okay, who's to say what's real and what's fake? So this guy Kumare, I forget his real name. If you have seen that and you know his real name, let me know in the comments below. But Kumare was not his real name. That was like a little pseudonym he made up for himself. He decided to become this person, Kumare, and basically do like a social experiment. He became a guru himself. He had the fake Indian accent from imitating his grandmother, and he had a bunch of people in the course for like 2 or 3 weeks. And at the end of it, he revealed who he actually was. And a lot of people were able to have some kind of, a breakthrough in their lives. Not necessarily because this guy was anybody really special. It was just because it was just the people connection. That's the most important thing with whatever you're doing. So if yoga helps you, if exercise otherwise helps you, running, jogging, weightlifting, or whatever, the history behind it, the real meaning behind it is really irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's all about what you gain from it. And I think this person really is just upset that she is an Indian living in America and she's seeing yoga be used and it's not primarily taught by Indians. Because if it was about getting the appropriate lesson, then she had to be critical of Indian people as well. Because like I said, in the Kumare movie, the documentary, the guy, the main character, who was an Indian American, was going to Indians in America and also in India, and he was getting bamboozled and swindled by hucksters that purported themselves to be what she claims that people in America should be. But I digress. Let's get back to the article and wrap it on up. She wrote, they can be aware of the history, roots, and magnitude of the practice and give credit where it's due. Humility, respect, and reverence go a long way. Additionally, there is a responsibility to explore issues around access. Oh, access? What kind of access? The cost of Western yoga classes can be prohibitive for low, middle income people. This often includes people of color, including recent immigrants such as Indian women to whom this practice rightfully belongs. That's funny. So it seems like she's kind of like begging for money. I don't understand what the point is. You can look online on Google, YouTube, or whatever and find some free yoga classes. What do you really need to practice yoga? Do you need to have a person teach you the actual thing? It's just like saying you have to go to church to be a Christian or to know the rules that you have to follow. I mean, there's a book out there called the Bible. All you got to do is read it and everything is right there. Bible study, all that is people that are trying to interpret the Bible in the way they see fit. Do you have to go to Bible study? And Bible study, as far as I know, is free. You can study yoga and practice yoga without, a cost prohibitive thing blocking you from being able to do it. Maybe this person, Miss Gandhi, wants to go to the yoga class that everybody else goes to, that she sees her friends and cohorts go to, that she grew up with in her probably middle class area, some suburb in some city. Okay, maybe she wants to have that and does not really see where the rest of society is able to access, so-called access these things from. Like I said, you can go to India, you can go to the US, you can go to wherever. You're going to find yoga practitioners that purport themselves to be all spiritual, all this, that, and the third, all holy, but then they're not really anything. They just tell you that because it's what you want to hear. She seems as if she's the kind of person that would be duped by one of them and wouldn't really care because she would feel like she's getting what she wants. And I see a lot of that going on. People telling people what they want to hear. Maybe she's doing the exact same thing because as I close in that Kumari documentary, a lot of that was going on. People were telling each other what they wanted to hear. And for that, it was comforting. But at the end of the day, if this person is teaching your child at, Michigan State University, these kind of things about capitalism being bad and white people being bad and all this and that, is that where you want your child to go? Do you want your child to be taught about racism, or do you want them to be more of an inclusive person, somebody that doesn't have negative feelings for one race or the other simply because of their race? But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.